Okay, so let's go ahead and we're going to go ahead and begin. And so first of all, I want to welcome you here to the webinar, How to Build an Internet Client Machine. We're going to cover quite a few things tonight, and as I know we've got a bunch more logging on as we speak, go ahead and say hi just by typing in the chat and saying hi. I'm going to keep us on mute for the time being, just to try to make it so everyone can hear each other. We don't have any crazy echoes out there. Just say hi in the chat. I'd love to see who's on the webinar. Hey Curtis, great to see you here. Hey Chris, Susan, Raphael, Cindy, fantastic. Shannon, Jerry, Jeff. Okay, great. We've got another Jeff on the webinar. It's always good. Hey, Avi. It's great to have you on. Sanjita, welcome. Fantastic. And Sherry, welcome as well. So, guys, let's go ahead and just jump in. We're going to make this, we're going to get started immediately. And as we do, the first thing I'm going to cover here is just what are we going to cover tonight in how to build an internet client machine. So first, we're just going to talk about why. The most important thing when you're thinking about any tactic or strategy to build really any business, but we're talking about our coaching businesses tonight, we want to know that, it's an important use of our time. And so we're going to cover just why bother, why build an internet client machine. Then we're going to look at a few case studies. Some of the coaches that we've seen that have used their internet client machines to boost their businesses to a level that most coaches don't experience and don't achieve. Then after that, we're going to cover the specifics on the machine, actually the mechanics and the process for actually how to build that internet coaching client machine in 5 days. There's a 5-day process. I'm going to take you through the specifics and the mechanics of that 5-day process. In addition to that, we're also going to cover a few details on the internet client machine, what we call the retreat, where we work with our students on them building their internet client machines. We're going to cover how it works, what's included, and how you can actually apply to take on one of the 4 remaining slots that we have in the upcoming retreat that's starting next month. And then we'll finish up with Q&A. So hold your questions right now. We're going to cover content first. This is kind of a unique meeting that we have tonight because, if you've ever been on one of our calls before, one of our guest calls or our free calls, or even the last webinar that we had last month, usually I'm coaching during those calls or during those webinars, and this is kind of a fun experience for me because this is like the one time that I can get together with you guys, and I'm not doing any coaching. I mean, I'm going to answer questions, and I'll definitely supply some advice for the questions that come through live, as well as the questions that were posted on the blog in the last week or so. But there's no coaching, so I can kind of take it easy tonight, and we could just talk mechanics. The neat thing about the business side of the coaching business, especially when we're talking about using the internet to market yourself as a coach, there's a lot of mystery that around using the internet and how to actually generate clients through the internet. And most of that mystery is simply because of misconceptions or myths or just a lack of knowledge. The good news is that once you know what you're doing, once you have built some of the skills that you need to build to be able to put together an internet client machine, it's pretty black and white. If you're a great coach, if you can make a difference for people and help them just by talking to them on the phone or face-to-face or whatever it is, I mean, that is a much rarer skill set and a much more sophisticated set of abilities than it is to set up the mechanics of of a business where you can generate clients for yourself online. And this is inclusive to a coaching business, for that matter. So the nice thing about this is that although there are some mechanics and it's not necessarily totally simple, it's relatively speaking, it's very simple compared to what we do as coaches and the skill sets that you provide your clients and that you should provide your clients as a great coach. So I am going to answer questions, and that's going to be actually a fairly easy job for me compared to a lot of the events that we do where I'm demonstrating some of the coaching techniques and strategies that we teach in the university and in our certification programs as well. So we'll cover Q&A. And then at the end of this webinar, I'm going to tell you how you can get the slides from the webinar and also the full video recording of the webinar as well. So there's a couple of things that you're going to need to do to make sure that you can get your hands on this stuff, and I'm just going to tell you at the end how you can do that. And also, this is something, I didn't even plan this until like a couple days ago, and I talked to my team, and we figured out that we could make this happen. At the end of this webinar, I'm also going to tell you how you can get a free client-machine consultation. And this consultation is going to be a call that you'll have with one of my top internet client machine consultants, and they're going to meet with you to review your niche, your business, the prospects, the mechanics of your internet client machine, and start to review with you what this is going to look like for you to set all this up. And you're going to learn a ton tonight just from meeting with me and going over the mechanics, so you'll kind of have an idea of what you're probably going to want to talk to your consultant about before you actually meet with them. But in addition to that, it's really great to be able to meet one-on-one with somebody that's going to kind of hold your hand a little bit as to the first steps, the next steps, and how to proceed with building this machine for yourself. So that's going to be very, very exciting, I think, for you if you're really wanting to do this and you can see the vision of what kind of difference this makes for your coaching business. And I'm really excited to be able to provide it for you because I really wasn't planning on it, but my team said that they would be willing to make themselves available, and I don't know how far we can go. In other words, there's going to be a limitation on how many consultations we'll be able to provide. I don't know exactly what that looks like, so if you follow the directions I give you at the end of this webinar, and you do it immediately, I'm fairly certain that you'll be able to get in for one of those consultations. But if it takes you a little bit longer than that, I can't guarantee it. But I do want to make this available to as many coaches as we possibly can. Okay, so a little bit about me. If you don't know me, I live in Florida right now. We're opening up new coaching offices in Florida, and I also have my family in Florida. I live here with my wife and my daughter, and we've been, my company and me specifically, I've been coaching for 14 years. These are some of the clients that we work with. We work with some of the largest companies in the world. We also work with a lot of coaches, as you may already know, and we work with individual business owners as well as people that are looking for personal transformation in their life as well. On top of that, you may be wondering, and I kind of added this in because I wanted to address it, we're talking about the mechanics of an internet coaching business tonight, how to build a machine online that actually generates clients for you. And you may be wondering, okay, well, we know you coach a lot of people and you've been in the business for a while, but why should we listen to you when it comes to building the internet properties? Although I'm sure you may have seen some of what we do online, which may have attracted you here. Beyond that, however, we were recently certified by Frank Kern and Ryan Dice. Anybody knows internet marketing, you know those names. They're some of the top guys in the industry, and really in marketing in general in the world. We've gone through their funnel certification program, and these are the guys that we look to among other mentors that I have, and they've now certified me in all of their methodologies, and we're using those in our own business, and we also consult with our students in Master Coach University and the Internet Coaching Client Machine Retreat with these same methods, strategies, and tactics. Now, let's go ahead and just jump right in. So why do this? Why build an internet client machine? Why set up your client attraction strategies online specifically? So, well, first of all, let's just look at the real world results. I took this screenshot today. I mean, I could literally go, I don't want to pull up a browser right now. I want to make sure my computer stays alive. But I took this screenshot today. I literally, I was trying to capture a year of clients. I failed to do that because I would have had to scroll down like 3 pages to hit, to actually capture a screenshot with all of the clients that we get online in an automated fashion, like pretty much like me doing nothing to get the clients over a period of a year. I wasn't able to do it. It's kind of cool. But what you're looking at here in this slide is a screen capture of maybe like 3-4 months of customers. I'm not sure. I mean, I'm looking at the dates. It's between October and today. Today we made a sale as well. So between October and today, I don't know. I didn't count these, but those are the customers. Those are the clients that we've gotten online. And by the way, those aren't all the customers that have hired us because of what we do online and our internet client machine. Those are just the ones that bought something through an automated shopping cart. That's not including the people that signed up for some other program or coaching or a seminar or whatever through our coaches and our sales team and our consultants. I didn't capture that list. I should probably have done that too to show you that list. But bottom line is, and this is an estimate, it really is just an estimate, we get about 100 clients a year through these types of online client attraction strategies. And we're in a position to really grow that, which I'm very, very excited about as well, because I love to make a difference for more people. And once you get to a point where you're coaching as many people as you really are ever going to have time to coach, then having a higher profit, sharing the wealth with your team, giving them a chance to make a difference for people, and expanding the difference and the kind of the legacy you leave for the world and the contribution you make to the world. That's pretty much all that's left. I mean, you getting to coach and get paid for it, that's kind of in the background. That got handled a while ago. And I'm just so grateful to be able to say that, I've successfully done that. It's not because I'm so great, though. It's because I learned these strategies and, it took some work. I implemented them, but, here's the result after a couple years of doing it. So we get about 100 clients a year over automated methods, purely online. These are people that go through our coaching programs, that purchased our products, etc. Now, one of the questions that I think is natural to ask when you see those kind of results is, okay, Jeff, but how much work did that take? Like how much, people, run businesses. I mean, they struggle. They're burning the candle at both ends. How much work do you have to put in order to get that? Well, I'm glad you asked that. I actually, and this is not an estimate. This is actually within an hour or two, pretty much exactly the straight dope. About, 6 months ago or something like that, I was in a coaching session, and the coach advised me to track my work hours, just to see how much am I working, how much time am I spending with family, how balanced am I, among other things, not to get into the whys and wherefores. But bottom line is, I started, every single week, you see the dates on here, I started measuring how many hours do I work every single day, totaling it up. I mean, there were some weeks where I worked quite a bit, some weeks where didn't work so much. But I ran an average of all the weeks that I actually fully reported on. Pretty much all the weeks I filled in what kind of work I was doing. And there were some weeks where I almost didn't work at all because I was either on vacation or I was sick that week or it was Christmas week, whatever. But if we averaged it all out, I work about 50 hours a week. That's the time that I put in to run my coaching business, the 3 divisions within JTS Advisors and Master Coach University and our consulting division, and run our internet properties. And really also, the reason why I put that kind of time in is not because I need to, although some weeks it's probably a good idea for me to. The reason I put about 50 hours a week in is because I'm committed to growing our business past where it is currently. And if you want to grow, you got to put some extra time in to get the growth going. If I didn't care about growing my business and I wanted to do, we do, about $200,000 a year in revenue, $10,000 to $20,000 a month or so, depending on the month. If I just wanted to just maintain that, I could put much less time in and maintain that. I don't know if I'd say indefinitely, but for quite a while. Sometimes you do need to make an adjustment in your business. That's just the reality. Things change, and sometimes you got to rebuild something or whatever. But I could probably spend half as much time and be able to maintain that business. And the reason I say that is because most of those customers, most of that's pretty passive income. Not just because it's a product or something like that people are buying, but because we provide coaching and all sorts of stuff, but I have a team of coaches that delivers most of the coaching now, and most of the coaching that I offer is leveraged coaching. It's one-to-many type of coaching, or coaching a group or something like that. So my delivery hours beyond whatever we're doing in the business it's relatively small at this point, and that's one of the things that you eventually may want to do. If you run an internet client machine, because you'll have so many customers coming in that it doesn't necessarily make sense anymore for you to be doing a ton of one-on-one coaching. Now, if you want to do one-on-one coaching, you definitely can, and you could pretty effortlessly get clients using a machine like we're going to describe tonight. But I wanted to give you the time for money type of equation here, and it's about 50 hours a week for me as we grow this business. In addition to that, a couple other reasons why you want to build an internet client machine. First of all, this just gives you more time for coaching. I mean, if you do other marketing and sales methods, other ways to enroll clients, the networking approach, the partnership approach, the speaking approach, the direct sales approach, the cold calling approach. We know all the ways that you can get clients. I mean, we teach all of these ways, for that matter, in other programs. It's not horrible. It's not a bad thing to learn this stuff. I think everybody should at some point learn these other methods and use them from time to time to grow their business. But if you use those other approaches, there is not a lot of time left for coaching. Because, if you're running around calling people, individuals, one-on-one, you might need to spend 5 to 10 hours a week on the phone. You may need to run tons of free sessions. You may need to follow up. There's a little bit of chasing involved, right? And you can end up spending 20, 30, 40 hours a week just doing that. And you haven't even delivered the coaching that people pay you for that matter. So when you extricate yourself from the lead generation process, which is the main element that you should be after in your internet coaching client machine, to actually generate people that want to talk to you, and that want to do a session with you or want to sign up for your coaching, that is the vast majority of the time that you spend maintaining, growing, or your business, getting clients, etc. That's the majority of it. So when you don't have to spend that time anymore because it's automated, and you've set something up that's a system that lives beyond you, that runs itself, so to speak, that builds your business while you sleep, then you could spend more time making a difference for people, and that really can pay off for your clients and pay off for, in my experience, it just the psychic reward, the emotional reward of knowing, hey, I can spend all the time I need to change lives and make a difference for the people that I'm committed to helping. That means a lot to me personally as a coach. It may or may not to you, but more time for coaching is a big benefit here. You can also reach the world. We have customers, we have coaching clients in every continent on Earth except for Antarctica. I don't think there's anybody there, but Europe, Africa, South America, of course North America, as you can imagine, Asia. We've got tons of clients in each of those continents in a variety of countries because the internet is worldwide, right? The World Wide Web. Anybody with an internet connection, and now that mobile devices are becoming ubiquitous and are able to surf the web, people who can't afford a computer, the third world is coming online, and they can find you. You don't have to go visit them. They find you online, so you can really reach the world and make a difference for a world market by building an internet client machine. A couple other reasons why to build this in your coaching business. You make it effortless. I mean, I can't say it any other ways. You make it effortless to get clients. You only end up having to talk to people who actually want your coaching. You know how many coaches I know that are consistently, in order to just survive as a coach, they consistently need to talk to people that don't want to talk to them. They're talking to people that don't want coaching, that aren't interested. They're trying to convince them to want it. It's hard enough for us to, convince ourselves to think differently or be differently or believe something differently or desire something that we really don't feel like doing or something like that. It's really hard, especially for somebody who's not a paying client that really doesn't believe in you as a coach yet, to convince somebody to change their mind about something before they really, buy into you as their coach, let's say. So when you have a system that pre-sorts predisposed, pre-sold people that are sifting through, the system sifts through these individuals and finds only the ones that are really excited about working with you, and then sends them to you for a free session or a paid session or to sign up for a program or whatever it is, life becomes a lot easier. There's a lot less rejection involved, just to put it simply, in that. Not that, we shouldn't be able to handle rejection. It's just that, if you don't need to deal with it and you can work with just people that really want to work with you, doesn't that sound like it would be a little bit more comfortable? For me personally, that's my experience. And there's just no need to push then, because you're using as they say, the law of attraction. You're using attraction strategies rather than chasing strategies. Chasing strategies work. Pushing can work. There's ways to do that. But it takes tremendous personal effort and energy on your part. That is not very effortless. And when you don't need to push, it gets much more effortless to run this business and make a difference for people. Now let's talk about a couple coaches that we taught this stuff to, and look at some of the results that they've gotten. I showed you a few of my vital stats, but that's just me. I want you to see that this isn't just like a one-shot deal. It wasn't just something that worked out for myself. So first, let's start with Eiji Morishita. When he first came to us for training, we actually trained him in his coaching skills as well. He was a retired poker player, and he was getting excited about starting his coaching business. And within a couple years, he was a six-figure coach after going through our internet coaching client machine retreat. He actually went through our first retreat. You'll actually see him on some of the training videos if you do the virtual retreat. And so in 2 years, he reached six figures. And mainly, actually, what's interesting about him, and this is one of the things that really is a big difference between Eiji and myself. I don't really like to do a bunch of public speaking. I do it from time to time. I shouldn't even say that. I enjoy it, but it's not, like, I don't want to. Like, that's not one of my outcomes, is to run a bunch of workshops. I used to speak a lot. You may have seen one of our videos where I talk about building a $30,000 a month coaching business. I use speaking, among other profit centers, to build that business in a past life. But I know how much time, energy, and work it is to use speaking strategies. I mean, it takes a lot of energy, at least for me. Not everybody's the same, but for me, it takes a lot of energy to get up in front of a group and deliver some great results. Go do the travel, and sometimes that means flying somewhere, driving for hours, dressing up, trying to clean yourself up, etc. Just all the things you got to do to prepare for face-to-face, getting in front of a group, type of stuff, and that's just it's not my cup of tea. I have the skill set to do it. When I do it from time to time, when people say, Jeff, you have to speak here, and I, just go ahead and say, okay, fine. Or when we run one of our face-to-face certification trainings, I really do enjoy it. But it's a lot of work. And I would rather not do so much work in my life, if I can handle it. So it's a great aspect of a coaching business, but it's just not my cup of tea. And when you look at the numbers in our business, that is basically zero speaking on my part, other than maybe a couple certifications that we run each year. So it's pretty isolated incidents when I'm actually speaking in front of groups, just by choice mainly. I could do a ton of it if I really wanted to. But Eiji had a real desire to run live workshops and seminars, and so he used his internet client machine that we worked with him on building to build his seminar speaking business, and then on the back end of that business, he built a coaching business as well. But he does, a tremendous speaking business also as a result of geniussquared.com. You could go there, check out his site, and you can see him right there speaking in, I think that was one of his early events, actually. He's done a ton of that since then. Jeannine, I actually featured Jeannine in one of our videos that talks about getting started as a coach. And both Eiji and Jeannine, before they came to Master Coach University, they had not even started their coaching business. So we actually helped both Eiji and Jeannine get started. And Jeannine actually started coaching just to finance her acting career. She wanted to do it. It was something she was passionate about. And she's one of those rare individuals that pretty much whatever she does in her life, it's because it's a passion, which is a beautiful thing. And but it was meant to be an income stream to finance her acting. I don't know what the time frame is, and I apologize for that, but within a pretty short period of time, I think it was like a year or two, she had built up a practice of about 18 clients. That's according to the New York Times, which ran an article that featured her about young coaches. I think she's about 28, 29 years old as we speak. She was 27 when she was featured in that New York Times article on young coaches, which, I mean, most of the coaches that were featured in the article actually were our students. But she started her internet client machine based upon what we shared with her among some other mentors that she worked with. And this is the result of it. You can see her at JeannineYoder.com. And actually, what's interesting is that New York Times article is also located online, and she gets tons of clients. I don't know how many, but she gets tons of clients just from people that click through from that article to find her as a successful coach. One of her clients is a contestant on Project Runway. She's got some pretty high-profile individuals that she works with as well. Now let's actually get into some of the mechanics and some of the steps to take to build your internet coaching client machine. And this is actually a 5-day process. We've kind of patented this process to take about 5 days. And so these are the writer-downers in tonight's meeting, in tonight's webinar. This is the stuff where you want to take notes. Now, of course, like I said, you'll be able to get the slides, but I'll be sharing some things that are probably not on the slides. And if you don't access the replay, this is where you really want to be taking some serious notes. By the way, and I really kind of just jumped into the content tonight, but during this webinar, I do suggest that you have your journal out or something that you know that will preserve your notes, and that you have a separate page for actions that you want to take based upon what you heard tonight. So you might get a lot of ideas, and you should take notes on all of those probably. It's great to write all that stuff down. But, action is different. I mean, you might get 40 ideas and only boil it down to taking one action. And so keep a separate page and just put at the top of that page, just write action. And you might have a list of, 1, 2, or 3 actions that you absolutely know you got to take as a result of our webinar tonight. And if you take those actions, if you get a couple of those, just a couple of nuggets for things that you know you need to do that'll improve your coaching business, that'll help you expand, that'll make your business more effortless, etc., then that'll make, in my opinion, that'll make this a worthwhile endeavor for you. And I hope that you'd agree with that. And it's great to review notes because, later on when you do a retreat or you plan out your year or your next step in your business, it's great to review notes and kind of dump that into your plan. But you can get a mini plan tonight just as a result of a really short, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 action list that you write down if you take notes. So don't just passively hang out here. It's great if you do that. It's better than nothing. But if you actively participate, number one, by asking questions later on when we open it up for Q&A, or writing down your questions, saving them for when that happens. And number two, by taking tons of notes, especially action notes, when it's appropriate and when you know it applies to you, then this will really be a priceless time that we spend together. And that's my outcome for us tonight. I mean, obviously I have these different things that we're talking about, and information, sharing about our retreat, etc. But most importantly for me, and I hope that this is why you're here, is I want to make sure that this is really immeasurably valuable for you. Number one, by inspiring you a little bit to take your focus in this direction and be serious about your coaching business and really treating it like a business that you got to build brick by brick. That's not just one of those kind of like scatterbrained approaches. It's like doing all sorts of weird things and not knowing what's going to stick, what's going to work. Just really being inspired to plan this business out and being smart about your marketing, especially if you're going to do it online. And then second, to really give you some keys that I've used, our students have used, and frankly, any coach I know has used to build anywhere between a 6-figure and a multi-million-dollar coaching business. I mean, the technology that we're about to review, some of the mentors that I've worked with that have taught me this stuff, I was lucky enough to have them as friends of friends, basically, before I really even had the money to spend on more education and certifications in this area. I just got lucky. I met the right people, and some of them were my clients, and they turned me on to some of these strategies. And the guys that I learned this from, I mean, they, at times, and maybe it's not currently, business goes up and down, but these guys have had anywhere between $10 and $50 million a year businesses. And several of those were basically coaching businesses as well. So, hopefully this will inspire you not just to be smart about your marketing, but to see the possibility here, to see what kind of difference this can make for the people that you can reach by marketing properly, and also the difference it can make for you and your family, and the kind of difference you can make by just having resources flow to you so you can expand your life and have a greater life and a greater contribution by way of the wealth that you can build. One of the ways to limit your contribution is by limiting the wealth that you gain, is by limiting the scale of your business, by limiting kind of what they call playing small in personal development circles, right? You can still play small and utilize these strategies and do pretty well, but these strategies also are conducive for scaling up as big as you'd ever want to be. Like I said, have a global business and have hundreds, if not thousands, of customers, and have a six-figure to multi-million-dollar coaching business. Now, is that typical? Heck no. What's typical is people learn this stuff, and then they go eat dinner, and then they go watch Lost or the Food Network or something like that, and they doze off, and they get up for work the next day, and they do it all again. And they repeat it, and repeat it, and repeat it, and repeat it. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's totally fine. The world needs, what makes an average person average is that most people operate that way, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. But if you really want to have some extraordinary results, whether it be in your coaching business or in your life or both, then these are some strategies and some tools that I've seen have worked really well. So let's get to it. So first of all, spend the time. That is the biggest, it's kind of the biggest secret, so to speak. It seems like it shouldn't be a secret, but people operate like it's a secret, which is that most people just don't, like I said, don't put the time in to building these resources. And if you don't spend the time, you just don't get the result. A lot of coaches that I talk to, when they're getting started with their internet client machines, they're really kind of scared about how is it going to work? What kind of clients am I going to get? Is it going to make me any money? Will I be able to do it? Am I smart enough for this? That's kind of the predictable conversation a lot of times in terms of fears and concerns. And what I tell them and what I find is that that's not, like, you being smart enough to do this is not going to be a problem. This working for you is not going to be a problem. Like, none of those concerns are ever a problem. I've never seen that as being the reason why somebody can't get their internet client machine to work. That they're not smart enough, or they're not doing it. They're not doing it right, or it just doesn't work for them, or something like that. It's always that they just didn't put the time in. If they had simply spent the time, and again, it's about 5 days or so that we spend together in the retreat, and obviously there's some maintenance after that. But if you don't just sit down, turn on your computer, and put in the days, it just never gets built. It never happens. So that's like secret number one. That and by the way, again, your response might be, well, yeah, I know that, sure. But the question I have is, well, if you know it, are you acting it out? Are you acting out the understanding, the distinction that putting the time in is like the keys to the kingdom, right? And if you're not acting that out, then something's got to change. Because without the time getting put in, don't waste your time on the webinar, right? Might as well do something else with your focus, because learning this stuff isn't going to help if you don't put the 5 days in. And it takes about 5 days in my experience. The cool thing is once you get those 5 days done, it can change your life. It can change your business forever. Not just because of what you built, but because of the skills that you've learned that now open up the possibility of you building other businesses or going into another niche, just because you know the strategies to use to get that ball rolling then. So number one, spend the time. You got to make sure you have not just that you're committed to doing that, but you've got a strategy, like a time management strategy to take time that you were spending on TV or the internet or on Facebook or at a job or just chatting with friends or taking naps or whatever that you can extricate yourself from, and putting it into this. That is like that makes more of a difference than just about anything else. Next, I'm going to share a few distinctions of my journey and how I went from having a business that was completely based on offline strategies, kind of old school coaching, enrollment strategies, and sales strategies, and networking strategies, to having an internet client machine that really built my business passively. So you may have seen the video where that talks about how I kind of started my coaching business in a trailer, and from there I did pretty well. I built a $30,000 a month coaching business, and I did it with a lot of speaking and seminars and workshops. I did actually build a team that helped us build that business, and I spent lots of time and energy really working to motivate that team to help our business grow as well. And it's really cool. It's great to have a team, but it was tough. I mean, I worked 7 days a week speaking, building that team and managing and motivating that team, and then doing a lot of coaching, doing a lot of consulting. So that's what this was my life. I was pretty successful, but I had no life. There's no doubt about that. There wasn't anything left after I did all of this stuff. And I wouldn't trade that time in my life. I mean, I'm glad I went through that, because of some of the lessons I learned and the skills that I gained, and we teach these strategies, so it's helpful to a lot of coaches that are never going to do anything online. But I don't think I'd ever go back there, because in my opinion, long term, I think temporarily it's okay, but long term, it's just no way to live, for a lot of reasons. Not very balanced. Now, what also happened as a result of that was that we ended up in 2008 basically going out of business. We went pretty deeply into debt, at least in my opinion, it was pretty deep into debt. And we lost 2/3, 3/4 of our coaching clients. I'm not going to go into the story of that. There's another video that you should have available to you that discusses the specifics of that. But we were on the brink of just me not being a coach anymore and getting a job, basically. And the ultimate reason behind that, there were a lot of reasons probably, and the market was part of it, and the niches that we had chosen were a part of that. But one of the big reasons was because I was spending so much time selling. I was spending so much time doing one-to-one, trying to get the next customer, that when the market wasn't working really well and wasn't helping us, and that force was going against us, there just wasn't enough leverage. There wasn't enough strength in the business to keep the business alive, to keep it afloat, and to keep new clients coming in. So it was not a pretty picture, and it's something I definitely want to avoid in the future. But one of the really cool things about what happened was it got me off my butt. Because I knew a lot of friends that were marketing online, had coaching businesses online, that could help me, and I was learning in that area, but I wasn't doing anything about it. I wasn't spending the time, as we talked about. And this scared me so much. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to have to go get a job for the first time in like 8 years. I was just willing to do whatever it took, and so I took my time and energy and I started building our internet client machine. And literally, this is actually a picture I took from the Caribbean. I was basically on the beach in the Caribbean somewhere. went out to the third world, checked into a junky motel for a month, and opened up my laptop and just sat there and figured it out. Kind of set up my first internet client machine. And it took me a lot longer than it should take you if you learn the strategies that we're teaching tonight and in the retreat. I was doing still a decent amount of trial and error with what I was building, but I put in a decent amount of time, And when I came back from that, I was able to not only passively gain customers and clients, not only grow our business past where we were before that, but also I was able to take a month off at a time. There's some pictures from vacations that I've taken over the years after 2008, where I was basically free to do whatever I wanted. I don't do that quite as much anymore. My vacation is usually family time now. Not always, but usually. But before I had my family, I pretty much was able to do whatever I wanted, when I wanted, with who I wanted, and go where I wanted. And when I needed to run my business, I could just open up a laptop, get on the phone, make a few changes, and the business just kept going. As a telephone coach, I mean, obviously, anytime you have a telephone, you could do a couple coaching sessions if you need to. But because my business became pretty passive, it was growing while I was on vacation, basically. And so that was one of the great experiences and realities that I got to see as a result of the work that I put in to build that. So start now. I mean, the sooner you get the ball rolling on this, the better. And it doesn't mean everything works tomorrow when you start tonight, but the sooner you start, the sooner you can get it built, the sooner you can actually start to see some small results come in, and the sooner you can start to grow those results past what you might even think is possible. Now, this is the way that I would think about an internet client machine. And we've described it probably already in a way that probably lends itself to this metaphor, but really this is what an internet client machine is. Now you might recognize, chances are you recognize what this is. If anybody wants to type it in the chat and that knows or even wants to take a guess, go ahead, shoot. But this is a sales funnel. Yeah, you could say that, but really, I'm talking about physically. Yeah, that's exactly right. This is Ray says water slide. This is what they call a slip and slide. This is a slip and slide. Anybody ever use a slip and slide? I think I've been on a slip and slide like twice. I've seen them. So there you go. Okay, now they're flowing in. Not in the UK, right? Okay. So a slip and slide. A slip and slide is what an internet client machine is. It's just a slip and slide. That's all it is. And so how does a slip and slide work? Because the internet client machine works the same way as a slip and slide. This is how it works. So how does a slip and slide work? What do? You can type it in the chat. Okay, so let me just tell you. Helps you slide. Okay. Yeah, you just slide on it. Well, actually, there's one thing you got to do before you slide on it. Yeah, get it wet, right? So there's one thing you got to do before you slide on it. You got to run real fast. You got to run real fast, and then you slide for a long time. That's it. And this is, and a couple people were saying, yeah, you got to get it wet first. You got to turn the hose on or whatever. Yeah, that's true. There's some planning involved, but ultimately, once you lay it out, do the basics, you just run real fast. I guess you jump, and then you just slide. And that is the internet client machine. That is how it works. It's not an effortless thing at first. You do have to run, right? So there's that initial investment. Like I said, it's a 5-day investment that I've observed and I've put in. Really more than that when I was trying to figure it out. But there's that initial running real fast. That takes energy, right? But once you've got the momentum going, the mechanics of the slip and slide, the machinery of it, so to speak, is set up so that your momentum just takes you all the way. And you slide for a long, long time. You're successful for a long, long time. And that's the way the internet client machine works. You have to put it together. You got to assemble it. There's no getting out of that, right? But once it's assembled, once you've done your running, the machine really does the work for you most of the time. It really could do all the work for you if you set it up that way. So that is how this works. Now, if you want to do things old school, and it's okay if you do, the momentum equation is a little bit different most of the time. So if you take a cold calling approach or a networking approach or even a speaking approach, in my opinion, but if you take the approach where you're not going to let the business and the mechanics of something online or an automated approach do a lot of the work for you, then you can run real fast, and it's like running real fast and then jumping on wet gravel. You'll slide, but you're going to slide about 2 inches, and it's going to be painful. It's just not as efficient a system. It is not as efficient a system. So does it work? Yeah. But here's how the cold calling, networking, and old school approach works. You run, and then you run, and then you run, and then tomorrow you run, and then you run, and you run, and you run, and you run, and anytime you stop running, you stop. Your business stops, your client stops, your money stops, the attrition starts taking over, and eventually your practice is dead. Or if you try to, again, coast on the momentum, you run, and then you jump, you get hurt. It's not a very slick mechanism, if you will. So now, can you get clients that way? Of course you can. Can you get a lot of clients that way? Yes. Can you make a lot of money that way? Yes. I know speakers that make $1 million a year. You know how many days they have off a year? 0. You know how many hours they work a week? All of them. That is how that works. Now, and it's a great job. Speaking is a great job, and you can make a lot of money. It's one of the highest paid professions in the world. But it's a job. If you're a speaker and you have a speaking quote unquote business, and you're trying to use that in concert with coaching or whatever, you don't have a business. If that's all you got a job. And all these other approaches, generally, unless you have a team that's committed to consistently doing it for you, you also just have a job, right? Could be a great job, but make no mistake, you don't get out of that job without losing clients, losing pay, etc. If you build a business that does the work for you, not all the work necessarily, but does a lot of the work for you and does it efficiently, such that it doesn't cost a ton of money, and setting up the automation on the machine like this is extremely cheap as opposed to like hiring a team to do all that for you in direct sales or something like that. You can have a profitable business, and you can have one that you can walk away from. You can actually have a business that once you build it large enough and have good enough systems that you can actually sell and have somebody else take over and have a lump sum of money dropped on you because of what you built. We've seen coaching businesses that have actually been built and then sold. And I'm not talking, I forget about amounts. I mean, obviously it depends on what the business makes. But if you have a business that makes $10 million a year, and there are some coaching businesses that are online that are doing that, and the profit is, I don't know, maybe a couple million a year, would that not be worth maybe $5-10 million to buy a business at that level? Because you make your money back in maybe 3, 4, 5 years maximum, right? And then you're making $1 million a year, and a lot of it's passive, right? So there could be a very nice exit strategy, if you will, at the end of that, if you choose to. Now, personally, I'm not really excited about selling my business, but I do want my business to live beyond me. I do want that legacy to happen. I do want that contribution to be beyond what I have time for, right? So for me to be able to do that, I have to build a business that can work without me, not because I'm gonna sell it necessarily, but because I want to set it up so I could sell it, because it works without me, so the contribution lives beyond me. So either way, whether you're thinking from a contribution perspective, a lifestyle perspective, or just a flat-out profit perspective, it's a business-oriented approach to this rather than a job-oriented approach to this. So that's the way to think about this, kind of from a metaphorical or an overview perspective. Let's get into the specifics on how you would build that internet client machine in 5 days. And let's think of this just from a calendar perspective. Let's say I gave you a week. I sat down with you. We're going to hang out. We're starting Monday, right? I don't know what the day is, like 25th or 24th, something like that. We're starting Monday, okay? And you got the week off, whether it's because of vacation time or you're just going to call in sick or you don't have a job or whatever it is, right? You're taking the week off. And you're willing to put that week, 5 days, Monday through Friday, into building your internet client machine. And we're gonna do it. I'm gonna hold your hand together, and we're gonna get out of town so there's no distractions. Sit in front of a computer, whiteboard, whatever it takes, and build this machine. So Monday, you're gonna select your niche. And by the way, selecting that niche, there's a lot involved. There's some research involved with that. You gotta. A lot of people go in, they select a niche based upon bad strategies, bad business models, and they wonder why they fail in their business. It's because they kind of pulled a niche out of a hat or based it upon just their own desire for who they feel like coaching that day. There's a lot more to it than that. And you can definitely coach anybody you want, but there are some business mechanics to selecting your niche. You need to know what those are and do it smartly. And when you've done that, and you do it the right way, and you do it intelligently, then what that gives you is access to knowing exactly what leads you are after generating. So, let me see if I can get my pen working here. Okay, that didn't work. Sorry, guys. Okay. See if we can get the slides back. I was trying to draw on these slides, but clearly that doesn't, it's not how the computer functions. So, all right. So anyway, this really gives you access to knowing what kind of leads you're trying to generate. I should probably just pull this off and then I can write on the raw slide, but that's okay. So that gives you access to knowing what leads are you after. That's what you're going to do on Monday. That's actually, by the way, let's go backwards for a second. I can make it go backwards. That's actually, by the way, this part is probably the most time-consuming day and the most challenging for most coaches. There's a lot of hand-wringing that goes on in this part of the process. And there is a lot of time put into the research part to make sure it actually works. All right, now on Tuesday, once you got that handled, now you're going to write your offers. And you know what offers to put together for your leads, for your niche, for your marketplace, by way of understanding that customer, understanding your niche. So really, you can't do what we do Tuesday without doing what you needed to do on Monday. A lot of coaches are sitting out there writing marketing, writing ads, creating programs. They don't even know what they're doing it for. They don't even know who their niche is. They don't even know what makes that person tick. And if you don't know that stuff, you're wasting your time trying to put together a business or write advertising or create programs. Or at best, you're rolling the dice and you're gambling. You're putting a lot of time in that may never pay off. That's one of the fears that a lot of coaches have. It's like, what if I put all this time in and it doesn't pay off? Well, guess what? That is a valid fear if you don't know what you're doing. It's a valid fear if you don't understand your niche and select the right niche, etc., etc. So Tuesday is really based on the work you did on Monday, and it makes Tuesday a lot easier as well. And so some of the ads you'll write are what we call pay-per-click ads. That actually helps you generate traffic to get the leads. But there's other offers that will help have people actually sign in to become interested and ultimately committed clients of yours as well. So that's what we do on Tuesday. It takes all day Tuesday to do that. Next day, Wednesday, you're going to create an incentive. And this incentive is all about what we already see on this machine. It's all about just taking the people that are coming from your advertising and turning them into a lead, turning them into somebody who's interested in working with you. And that incentive is something that you've probably seen before. It tends to be some type of information or coaching or program or something that people sign up for by giving their contact information to you into a system, into a database, and they become a lead for you. So this is passive lead generation by the time you've completed this machine. But you got to create that incentive and figure out what that is. How do you know what incentive to create? It's based upon your niche again. It's based upon the offers that you've written. So again, this Wednesday, each day kind of builds upon the days prior. Actually creating an incentive is fairly simple. And it really can be done in a day if you're creating the right kind of incentive. Most of the incentives that I see coaches create, like long ebooks and really involved courses, coaching calls, and the like, tend to take weeks and weeks to build, and they actually are the worst incentives that will make sure that it's actually really challenging for you to convert your leads into customers. I'm not going to get into the details of why that's the case, but there's specific types of incentives that are easy to create. They do take time. They take about a day or so to create, but they're perfect for generating leads and actually turning somebody into a client simultaneously. So that's what we do on Wednesday. And that just supports these parts of the machine that we already have up here on the slide. Now, Thursday, we'd set up your blog, which can be done in like 5 minutes, but we do a little bit more beyond the basic mechanics of the blog. We set up a blog in a very specific way to generate enrollments and more leads. And then also your email mechanics. There's certain automation that you need to set up for email communication, such that when people become a lead, that they receive certain emails from you that'll actually cause them to enroll and become clients. So what we do on Thursday not only increases your lead generation, increases how many people are just prospective clients, but also increases the number of people that are going to enroll in your programs as well. So now we've got three elements, three parts of the mechanics of this machine that are pretty well built by the time we've gotten to Thursday. And then finally on Friday, you're just going to set up your social media automation. And so that'll just create another arm of places that leads come from. And by the way, if you generate enough leads just from social media, from paid advertising and offers, and your blog, I should probably have blog down there also as a part of that lead generation machine specifically. It's kind of part of social in a way. But if you do a good enough job of generating leads there, the partners, what we call JV partners or joint venture partners, they will chase you down so they and beg you to send, to let them send you business. Now, obviously, they probably want some in return as well. But if you have like we do, I mean, I looked at this today. Well, here, let me get out of these slides for a second. Let's just open up a browser just for a second. So I'm just going to go into this is just one of my databases, one of my client databases. I'm just going to go ahead and sign in. We're switching over to Infusionsoft for our automation, but Aweber does a pretty good job. Now this is where I need my pen. Let's see if I can make this work. Okay. So this number right here, 9,626, as of today, in real time, this is how many customers we have. Now, what do I mean by a customer? I don't necessarily mean all these people are sending us money every day. What I mean is these are people that have already done some type of transaction with us. They've already at least given us their name and email. They've already said, hey, we're interested in what you're up to. a smaller segment of these guys are actually paying customers. But I look at a customer as somebody who they're in my database, they've shown interest. If you could generate that relationship, moving somebody from your database to being a paying client is actually relatively easy. The hard part is usually getting somebody into your database. That's what most coaches are inept at doing. So, just this database alone, we're approaching 10,000. We got 27 customers today, 34 yesterday, and we lost a few because we probably sent out a bunch of emails today as well. But we're building that list pretty fast. I mean, and we don't do this every day, but if we were to generate 27 new customers every single day, forget about the past customers and the people that are still good prospects that we can continually market to and talk to and enroll in something else that we create. We got 27 a day times 365. That's another 10,000 customers every year, right? This is just one of our databases, by the way. We've got another one that's got about, I think it's about 7,000 customers in it as well. So if you've got a list of customers like that are a particular type of customer, in a particular niche, for a particular purpose, a partner is going to pursue you, chances are. Partner is going to pursue you, chances are, because they know that you have the most valuable thing in a coaching business or in any kind of internet business, which is you have the customer. What does any business want more than anything? They want customers. What's the hardest thing for most businesses to get? Customers. They're all. And by the way, is there ever a limit to how many customers a growing business wants or needs? Heck no. So when you have the customers, when you control what we call the lead flow, that's what this part of the machine, that central part of the machine is the lead, right? When you control that lead flow, the customer flow, partners are going to be all over you to work with you, to partner with you, and to send you business. As well as the reciprocation that will happen in that. And you can get paid for that, but you can also dramatically increase your database of customers as a result of attracting more leads, more lead flow, more customers. So hopefully this makes sense of the vision here. We've got the machine that we needed to build. We had 5 different days. We selected a niche. We wrote the offers that were needed for that. We show you during the retreat which offers you need to write and how to write those. Created an incentive, just takes about a day or so to create that. Set up your blog and your email automation, and then automated your social media so you're not sitting on Facebook all day. And doing that builds this machine. Building this machine attracts the leads, ultimately sets you up to enroll plenty of clients, and also attracts more partners that will ultimately grow your business for you on top of the automation that you've set up. This is a snowball effect. Once you kind of break into orbit, once you run and hit, where is that? Let's go back to our metaphor here, if I can make my controls work. Clearly I hit the wrong button again. Let's see if I can try that again. Here we go. So again, double click here. If you run real fast and get all that built, then the sliding takes care of itself. It's I guess you could call it a snowball effect, for lack of a better description of it. In fact, I think it's Warren Buffett. He wrote his, I think it was his autobiography, I'm not sure, it was called The Snowball. And he basically just said something like a slip and slide. He said, hey, if you really want to grow a great business, find a really big hill, i.e. a really long slide, and then just have a great idea for the snowball that you're looking to throw down that hill. And it'll just build and build and build and build and build. So select your niche, write your offers, create an incentive, set up your blog and email, and then finally automate your social media. and you'll have these parts of your machine built and flowing and working for you. So what happens as a result of this? Now clearly, I mean, hopefully this already should go without saying that you're building your client base while you sleep. I mean, those leads I just showed you from our autoresponder and our database, our client database, you think I called any of those people to find them? I didn't have time to call 20 people today and 30 people yesterday. I don't even think I made any phone calls, except I had to cancel an appointment today, so I made like one phone call today. I don't use the phone for the most part. That happens automatically. So build your client base while you sleep or while you do something else. It advertises you for free. Not all the time. Sometimes paid advertising is smart. But the blogs and the social media, you know, some of the most quality leads and quality clients that you get will come through those pillars, through those parts of the machine, through those lead sources for free, without any expense on your part, other than just the initial expense of assembling. And a lot of that you can do yourself. And it really makes it consistent, you know, because if I go on vacation for a month, our business is still going to generate revenue, clients, growth, something for our team to be up to. It gets clients every single month, usually irrespective of whether you're doing that much work anyway. So it creates more stability for your coaching business and makes it an every month thing, whether or not you're working 80 hours a week. So how does the retreat work? Let's get into the actual retreat itself, where we spend time together building this machine and kind of hold your hand in the process. So there's three philosophies that, you know, everything that we do at Master Coach University, at JTS Advisors, we make sure that these kind of philosophies are delivered in every program. And it's that you want to make sure you learn by doing. We want to make sure you have the best role models that have already done it successfully. And we want to make sure that you don't just kind of scratch the surface, that you give it all the focus that it needs to make it successful, rather than just wasting time giving you some knowledge that's worthless. So in the Internet Client Machine Retreat, you will learn by doing it. In other words, you'll get in this retreat and you won't just watch a bunch of videos and then take off. You'll watch the videos, you'll go through a process of getting questions answered and working on certain things, and then you actually do it. You do every single step that we demonstrate and talk about. And we hold your hand while you do it. Secondly, you know, myself and our team are experienced in building these marketing funnels, these internet client machines. We built many of them. And so we really hold your hand as you build yours as well. And if you choose to hire my team, in addition to the retreat, they can actually build the mechanics for you. That's really up to you as to whether or not you do that. But experienced advisors hold your hand. And we make sure that we have walked our talk and we're successful in having done this. We're not just teaching you something that we don't really do ourselves. I would feel hypocritical if that was the case. And then you give it total focus for 5 full days. What's included in the retreat? So first of all, you'll get 5 days with me and my web team. Now, just to be clear, our web team you need to hire them, so you can hire your own team if you choose to, or you can hire our team. But you know, our team is extremely reasonable and in terms of the investment involved. But full disclosure, you can do the retreat without hiring our team, or you could do the retreat and hire our team as well. My team does a great job with our properties, so I have asked them to make themselves available to you if you're a part of the retreat. So you get 5 days with us. And we do this virtually now. The first retreat we actually did face-to-face in San Diego, but we actually found that when people were together face-to-face, they tended to socialize a little bit more than when we're doing this virtually. So for these 5 days, if you can kind of like shut your door and lock it and put a sign on it that says "Do Not Disturb," and just really focus on what I'm about to share with you that we do during the retreat, you're going to be really better off than being face-to-face. So the virtual retreat also sets it up such that you don't have to do a bunch of travel to go through this experience, and it works great. You'll get all the video trainings on how to build the machine. So we make sure that all of the information that you have it in video form. You have live examples, diagrams, hot seats, workbooks, support materials, blueprints, all the stuff that you need, just so you've got the information in front of you so you can learn this stuff. And then I stand over your shoulder while you build it. Now, obviously, physically, I'm not where you are, but we have set it up such that as you're doing the work, as you're actually building this stuff and creating your business here, that I'm on call for you, and we can look at everything you're doing together. So you'll have that expert advisor available to you who's done this many, many times before successfully, and will help you make sure that you do it successfully as well. So here's how the days go. We have these 5 days. Now, these 5 different days, in the morning, we set that time aside for you to watch the trainings. And it's somewhere between like 2 and 4 hours of video trainings. You kind of do it at your own pace. You can even watch those before that morning if you don't want to take the morning to do that. But we set the morning for you to learn the intellectual foundation that's needed here. During lunchtime, we actually have a Q&A and a hot seat webinar every day of the 5 days. And the reason we do that is because, you know, when you get a bunch of new information, a bunch of new learnings, you know, sometimes it's like, wait a second, I'm not sure I understand completely, right? And we do the best we can to make that really simple and understandable, but sometimes there's going to be questions or, you know, how does this apply to me, or what about this, or what about that, all the yeah buts, etc. And so we set up lunch so that once you've gone through the trainings, that you can come to a lunch webinar just like we're here together right now, and ask and get every question answered that you have about that day's material and work that's going to be done. And actually, for some of the students, they're actually in a position to do a hot seat, and we actually work with them right in front of the group to show examples of how we're going to do the work on that day as well. And you can be a part of those hot seats if you choose to. And then in the afternoon, after the webinar, I'm on call for you the whole afternoon. So it's like somewhere between 3 and 5 hours, depending on when we're done with the webinar, while you create your machine. So you're going to go to work and start building your machine, doing the work of that day. And then anytime you have a question and you want some coaching from me and support, you just call my number. I give you my personal line, and we just talk it out. We just work together on whatever needs to be handled. Sometimes we kind of write the web copy that we need to put together, or kind of work out do a little bit of side-by-side research when we're going through the niches, look at the mechanics of the technology. You know, I kind of sit here and work with you on the stuff that you're doing. Now, again, you know, I'm not doing it for you necessarily. You still need to do the work that afternoon, but you're doing it in a team atmosphere. I know for me that when I'm alone, I have a good amount of focus, but certain types of work that I really don't like doing, or it's kind of new for me, it's hard for me to get myself to do it. It's hard to get myself off my butt and doing something for the first time. But what I also find is when I'm with my team, or when I'm with my assistant or something, like I'll do just about anything, because I'm in that environment where we're working together. And we want to create that environment, virtually at least, during the afternoon to kind of give you some momentum, support, a little bit of moral support, as well as strategic and tactical support, to get that build process completed, so your machine's going to be done within the 5 days. So that's really what a day looks like in the life of the Internet Coaching Client Machine Retreat. By the way, what's funny about this process, because this is just our philosophy of learn by doing, and, you know, kind of participating together and working together on this. When we first built the retreat and did it, nobody was doing it this way. I mean, there were people that are out there teaching tactics about internet marketing and stuff like that, but all you could do was get information about it, and you know, nobody's really working with you kind of hand in hand, side by side, and consulting with you on your business. You had to figure all of it out. You just got a bunch of information dumped on you from the sky. Information's great, but alone, it's it's not worth very much if you're having trouble with implementation and the strategy of it. But once we built this, I had a couple clients that were in the internet marketing space, and they were the first guys to go out and after us and actually do learn by doing type of retreats like this for somebody building their internet properties. And they kind of stole the idea from us, which is great. I mean, it's more power to them. But nobody was doing this because they were just dumping information on people. So from what I know about this process, we were really the first to actually work hand in hand in a program like this and not just dump out a bunch of information. So ultimately, we're meeting together, and after this period of 5 days, or during the 5 days sometimes, your team or my web team, depending on who you want to hire and how you want to do it, assembles your machine for you based upon the work that you've done. So you don't even get on it. You do not have to, start your own blog and post it and get it all set up. You shouldn't have to publish your own web pages and figure out HTML. You should never have to do that. I know a little bit of HTML, like if I have to copy and paste some code or something like that, but I don't know anything about programming. I never will, because my team has done it for me, or I've got tools that now work really great that do the work for me, and I just got to do the creative work of figuring out what's the message and what's the incentive and who do I want to work with, and it's just the marketing that I got to do. The technical stuff somebody else does, or the tools do it for me. So that's how we're going to teach you how to do this, and it's really inexpensive to have this done for you nowadays. So you or my web team and the tools that we'll advise you to utilize as well will assemble your machine. They'll publish all these different elements and parts of the mechanics for you, basically. And then you just walk away with all of your essential marketing material done, published. It's not just conceptual, it is actually live on the internet. And as a result, you can just push the ignition button, you can push the go button. There's literally a go button on some of these processes once the mechanics have been set up, and the machine starts working. The automation takes place, and you start cranking out clients. So what is this worth? Well, the guys that certified me in this process, Frank and Ryan, these digital marketing guys and funnel certification guys, etc. If you were to go to them and say, hey, could you help me build my internet client machine? They will charge you $15,000. And this is, they're literally doing this right now. They're like, well, if you want us to consult with you on how to do this and kind of help you and kind of not do it for you, but kind of hold your hand while you're doing it so you get some advice from us, it's $15,000. And you literally just write them a check for that. There's no guarantee. It's just like, here you go, $15,000, a dump truck full of money, basically. Now, they're not doing it for you for $15,000. They're telling you what to do. So you got to do the work. And you already spent $15,000 just for them to advise you in this respect, which is very valuable, but you still got a lot of work to do. And implementation is still challenging if you don't have support with that. If you want to hire them to just do the work for you and actually build it for you, that's more like $100,000. And again, go ahead and go to them. If you doubt this, they're going to charge you this. I literally, I've asked them because, we're partners in a variety of ways. I'm like, hey, how much is it for you guys to do it for me? How much is it for you to consult with us on our new funnel that we're building? We asked them this stuff. This is what they've told us. Okay, so the other guy's Ryan Dice, this is just. By the way, this is pretty reasonable when you really think about it. Actually, my family just bought a local business. They bought a frozen yogurt franchise, and it's a very cool business. Franchising is a great way to go. They spent, I think, about $70,000 buying that business. It was and by the way, they got it. It was a fire sale because the guy was about to go bankrupt if he couldn't sell the business. It was not. This was not a profitable business. It's $70,000 to get a business that was not profitable. It was not making. Now they get to figure out how to make money with it, right? So you put 70 grand in business that's not making any money. Knock yourself out, right? If you wanted to buy a profitable frozen yogurt franchise in our location, you're going to spend somewhere between $150,000 and $200,000, right? So that's buying a local business, and some of those businesses will make money, and some of them won't. But that's what it costs to buy a business. So if you want, it's the top experts in the world to build a business for you. That's what this is. This isn't just some like trick to get a client. It's a business we're talking about here. You want them to build your business for you? It's $100 grand. That's actually a good deal. That's a very good deal, because once they're done building that for you, you have a business that will probably churn out profits for years and years, and a lot of that will probably be passive. That's what a business costs. I mean, a small micro business, that's what it costs. And you could scale that business way beyond what a lot of local businesses will ever be capable of. That frozen yogurt franchise that my family bought, it'll probably never make more than, I don't know, maybe $100,000 a year in profit, maybe 150, probably never, right? Now we could expand locations, right? But that's another $200,000 or $100,000 to acquire another location. That's slow growth, right? If you pay $100,000 to get yogurt, like frozen yogurt, like yogurt that you eat, not yoga. But okay, getting back to the point here, you have a business that's worldwide. If you have a business that's scalable because it's on the internet and it's not location based, and you get that for $100,000, you can scale that up way past making $100,000 or $200,000 in profit every year. Not to mention salaries and income for yourself, etc. Right? So, in my opinion, this business is a lot better than some brick and mortar thing that's probably real challenging to keep it alive. In a lot of ways, that's a job more than a business. So this is what this is worth. And how do I know this is what it's worth? Because this is what the market is paying for an online business from the top experts, the guys that have taught me. Here's the tuition if you want to be a part of the internet client machine. During this, and again, we've got four slots, so this is obviously limited, and we're starting pretty soon, like within a week or so. So the time is of the essence on this one for those, and also obviously once those 4 slots are gone, they're gone. Our tuition for the internet client machine retreat alone is $1,500, $1,500. That does not include implementation. So if you want to work with our team, there's additional expense there. There are some tools that you may need to get. For the most part, the tools that are involved in this and the implementation help is going to be under $500 for basic. Now, if you want to go to a higher level, obviously you can spend more than that, but less than $500, and you can get most of the implementation you need to get your blog set up, to get your squeeze pages set up, to get your lead flow happening, to set up your AdWords campaigns, like all the mechanics of this. You could pretty much get it done with a little bit of sweat on your part, some help from a team, and a couple tools. The tools are really cheap nowadays, and they're just getting easier and easier to use. So $1,500 paid in full tuition. If you want to set up a payment program, you don't have $1,500 in your pocket, it's $355 a month, 5 monthly payments on that end. So pretty good deal considering that this is the basis of what can, again, ultimately be a 6-figure business or beyond if you scale it beyond what a lot of coaches do. We're also offering some extras on top of the retreat as well. And the reason I'm putting these extras as a part of these is for 2 reasons. Number one is I just want to sweeten the pot and make it kind of a no-brainer for you to offer you some more value. But in addition to that, I also really believe that some of the students that we work with, sometimes they need some help in some other areas, and these bonuses are there to support you in that. So I'm going to include our highly acclaimed Quick Start program as a part of this launch, as a part of the Internet Client Machine Retreat. It's at a minimum a $700 value. People buy it for more on a regular basis, and it includes everything you need to get your coaching business started, to kind of figure out the beginnings of the first clients that you get, the rollout plan for the basics of the business, as well as all the fundamental coaching tactics, techniques, and strategies that every coach should know and be able to do. There's about 20 videos involved in that program, over 1,000 pages of workbook support, assignments, etc. We also have a live boot camp that happens twice a year to help you get in momentum and getting your business started. That's included with the Quick Start program as well. Also, I'm including the Master Coach DVD course, which covers a lot of the important elements of using speaking to grow your business, and also internet marketing to grow your business, the marketing fundamentals. We also cover a lot of more advanced coaching tactics and strategies in the Master Coach DVD course. There's 18 DVDs in this program, over 1,000 page workbook that we're building that's accompanying this program with full-on assignments and documentation of everything that's covered in the video, in the videos as well. And on top of that, one other bonus, every year, twice a year at this point, we run advanced coaching certifications, coach certifications, one in San Diego and one in Orlando. Early in the year, San Diego, late in the year, Orlando. And these are 2-day certifications. They're very intense. There's a lot of work that we do in 2 days, but we cover pretty advanced coaching strategies, among some other things. And then at the end of that, you actually receive certification for the coursework that you did throughout that 2-day training. Now, it's obviously, I believe that there's more to coaching than what you can learn in 2 days, but at least you can get started and get certified. It's also a place for us to really rub elbows with other students at Master Coach University and other students of the Internet Client Machine as well, and network with coaches. A lot of business partnerships form for the person that's running the coaching business and the person that wants to do the coaching and the creative work, etc. During these certification trainings as well. And I personally run those trainings, so you'll have a chance to meet me face to face, and really just not just see the theory behind these advanced coaching strategies that we learn in Master Coach University, but see me demonstrate them in front of you live and actually have a chance to practice them as well. So those are the certifications that are available on top of the other bonuses. So around $2,000 worth of extras that are included if you are one of the 4 students that are a part of the Internet Client Machine Retreat this time around only. So what's the result of all this? And it's been a lot of talk, and we've been here for about an hour and a half, I think. Time flies. If you were to do all this stuff and you were to take part in this and really partner with us to build your Internet Client Machine, to get these certifications, to go through the Quick Start if you choose to go through some of these other basic trainings that we've supplied you, and you really follow through on it. You really put your heart into it and care about the result. If you do this, what happens as a result of all this? Well, first of all, you get to take time off whenever you need, because you've got a system that's doing a lot of the work for you. Not all of it, but a lot of it. You will have a complete and working system that you can tweak and grow and use in other niches or even other businesses if you choose to. And then finally, the result is sanity. I like to just call it sanity. I'll tell you, I love coaching. I wouldn't do anything. Well, I suppose there's probably other businesses I would run, but at this point, I really don't want to do anything else with my life, with my career. But the first 8 years of my coaching business was insane. It was insane, and I loved a lot of it. I hated a lot of it. Like I said, I wouldn't trade it for anything, but it was insane. And I really don't want coaches to have to go through that. Some of it, sometimes they do need to go through. depending on where they're in the business and their coaching skills, etc. I mean, you should be a good coach and learn how to do that. But I really got sanity after I built this business, the way that we talked about tonight. And I really hope that you can access something. If you don't do this, something that will give you the kind of sanity, the kind of peace of mind, and the kind of stability and consistency that I've been blessed to have built into my business with a little bit of knowledge and a little bit of work. One client pays for your tuition. If you get a client that pays you $100 a month and they stick around for a little over a year, your tuition got covered. If you get a client that pays $250 a month, which is kind of an average client fee, and they stick around for half a year, which is average for most coaching practices, you got your tuition paid for. If you already have clients, it's an easy way to think about allocating the resources for this. If you don't have clients, then when you do get your first client or your first couple clients, kind of covers your business build out, so to speak. This is a really cool business because it just doesn't take a lot of dough to get it started. Does it take work? Yeah. But if you're willing to put the time in and you really are passionate about it and you like doing the work, or at least the coaching involved in it, and you care about people, then you can get started for next to nothing compared to most businesses. So really one client on average pays your tuition. So how do you apply? It's pretty simple. If you're ready to rock and roll, just contact Fariel Allen. She'll get you going. She'll get you into one of the slots. You do need to talk to her. We don't work with some coaches because some coaches are not in a financial position or a position in their business where it is a good idea for them to build an internet client machine, to build their business out at this level. And we made the mistake in the past of accepting kind of any coach who wanted to pay our fee, and we found that some coaches did not succeed with what we taught them, not because it wasn't the good stuff and not because they couldn't have succeeded. It's just because they were not in a position, in my opinion, to really get the value that we wanted to offer them. And I don't want that to happen in the future. I don't want that to happen to you if you're not really at the point where you're ready for this. Now, we love to help you get ready. I mean, you can go through the Quick Start program. There's other support that we provide that's at a more basic level, kind of a more startup point, depending on where you are financially and where you are in your coaching business. And we can get you to the point, probably even within months, where you could actually be ready to go through the Internet Client Machine Retreat. But I don't want you signing up for this and putting your time, energy, trust, faith, and funds into it if it's not a good idea. So Fariel will ask you a few questions, make sure that it's a good fit, because we don't want to work with somebody that's not going to be successful with this. That doesn't do us any good. I don't need your money at this point. What I do need is for you to be successful for two reasons. Number one, so we can make a bigger difference in the world for more people that I'll never have time or to work with, or I'll just never have reached because I didn't focus on that niche, let's say. So making the kind of contribution that I want, that's my mission, to do that. And then secondly, so that you're successful, so that people know that we've helped some really great coaches do a great job in building their business, so we can expand what we can do with more coaches too. Because if you're not successful, it's not going to be a very convincing story that, hey, we've worked with a bunch of coaches and nobody was really successful. That's not cool, right? And I'm not up for that. So just get in touch with Fariel if you're ready to roll. Here's her email, farielallen@gmail.com, FERYALALLEN. I'm going to type it in here. There you go. And then you can also call her here. I mean, she's international, so this may or may not reach her at the time that you call it. You can leave her a message on Skype, but even if you try and call her, if you don't get a hold of her, definitely email her, because that's for sure going to reach her. Now, you don't have to contact Fariel. You can wait until we open registration and open up for applications. If you are on the interest list, you will receive an email when we open for applications. Just keep an eye on your email. And I'm going to show you how to access the interest list if you're not already on it. But you must be on. I will not. If you're just in our general client list, or you're on like Facebook or something, you're not going to know when we open, because we just don't want to bother people that aren't interested. You must be on the interest list. That's the only way that you're going to get the early access emails, to get links to go to the information area and be able to fill out an application. We do have an online application, so it's super easy to fill out an application now. We're not paper applications anymore, so that makes it a little bit easier. But we do want to know who you are, what position you're in, so we know if it's a good fit as well. So you do need to apply before. This is not something where you could just like go to a shopping cart and sign up. We want to screen you to make sure that we're going to do a good job with you, and it's going to be a good partnership for everybody. So you can wait until we open if you're on the interest list. Now, as promised, if you want to get the slides and the full recording of this webinar, the video recording of this, you want to go to this URL, internetclientmachine.com/webinar. Now, if you already signed up for the webinar via that URL, via that address, then you're good. Then I'm going to email you within like the next 24 hours. There's a little bit of frazzling that I got to go through to get all this stuff together. But once I've done that, I'll email you a link so you can get access to the recording of the webinar and the slides as well. It's not posted yet, so I can't give it to you here. But what I am telling you is this: is just sign in there. I guarantee you will get it within the next about 48 hours max. Also, oh, actually, you know what? Here, I'm sorry. Is that right? There you go. Okay, so you can just click that, sign in, rock and roll. Like I said, if you've already signed in, signed up for the webinar via that direct sign-up page, then you're good. You're already on the interest list. You'll get the email when I send it out. All right, so that's how to get the slides and the full video recording. Now, if you'd like to have, while we have room, free client machine consultation, what we call client machine consultation. This is a consultation with one of our internet client machine experts. Then you want to go to this address. I'm going to type this one in as well. You can always write it down or go to it right now also. And just sign up for it. And you'll fill out a short form that'll give different times that you might be available, so you can set a time that works for you and your consultant. But they'll get in touch with you and confirm a time, and then you'll have that client consultation, that client machine consultation that I promised at the beginning of this webinar. So just give me a second. Let me type all these little letters in here. So that's internetclientmachine.com/strategy session. I hope I spelled that right. Okay, so that's how to get your free client machine consultation with one of our internet client machine consultants. Okay, and those will be happening over the next week or so. Okay, Q&A. So if you have a question, you can type it in the chat. I am going to share the questions that came through on the blog right now, the ones that were recent. And I'm going to start with those. So let's see, Francesco. Francesco asks, my fear is I don't feel confident enough to market my services openly, as I don't have a qualification, I guess he means certification, nor the money to get one in the short term. Some people seem to depend on it in order to give me credit. I'm supposing you mean credibility. So, yeah, we talked about this last month in a different webinar. And, you know, credibility, definitely, obviously, having a certificate or something like that can help in terms of credibility. But chances are, if somebody's asking for your qualifications and your certifications, you've done a bad job marketing to them. Because, you know, with the people that we have in our client funnel, they're not asking us those questions. Like, what are you certified or something? Like, I don't think I've ever heard that question, actually, other than like from a coach, you know. So clients just want to know that you can help them, and if you build the right marketing, they're going to know that. If you do a crappy job with your marketing, then yeah, you better be certified, and that's actually a sorry substitute for good marketing and good credibility building in a business context. So if you get serious about your business and you do what we talked about here tonight, or you do any other approach, like a speaking approach or a joint venture approach, or even direct sales approaches that build credibility without a certification, you'll actually be better off than dumping a bunch of time and money into get certified. Now, I think the skills that we gain as we get certified in something are highly valuable. I mean, that's why we got certified as funnel marketing consultants with the top internet marketers in the universe. You know, it wasn't for the certification. I mean, I like being able to put that in front of us, but I mean, I did it to get the skills. I didn't really care about the certification. So, you know, use these other methods that we talked about tonight and that we do teach outside of this webinar to build credibility for yourself, and I think you're going to be much better. Confidence-wise, that's an inner game thing. So that's something that probably you could use some coaching on to build the confidence. And sometimes confidence just comes from, you know, helping people, you know, knowing that you can get results for people. So if you run enough sessions and you work with enough clients over time, that confidence will improve even if you didn't get a certification. Okay, Francesco also asks, so far I've only gotten great reviews and recommendations. Well, that should make you confident in and of itself, I would hope. But nobody has the money to pay, apparently. Now, by the way, sometimes people have the money, but they just don't admit it because they don't want to reject you if your marketing is not too good or if they're not sold, so to speak. Let's see. These people say, coming back to Francisco, these people say, since you're good-hearted, can I ask you for some more? Okay. Seems to be the most common way that people approach me. And since I love helping people, I can't say no. Well, you can say no. You haven't said no yet. But I get it. I get where you're coming from. So people come in for a 10-minute talk, and they take it as a friendly talk, not to be charged. Okay. All right. Fair enough. So look, you just got to start charging people. And hey, I'm a believer that you should probably have 5 or 10 clients that you just never charge, just to have practice clients and build your credibility and your abilities and your confidence and, you know, get testimonials or recommendations, etc. That's great. But beyond that, you know, yeah, you can give them one free session, but that's it. You know, then they got to pay. And if you don't force that on yourself as a part of the way that you run your business, then nobody else is going to do it because they're just going to take your coaching. You know, hey, look, I mean, I gave away free sessions for a decade. I don't do free sessions anymore. And our coaches don't do more than like one free session, and then you got to pay. But, you know, what I learned through that process is it's a great marketing technique, but also you can go too far with it. And if you just keep giving and giving and giving, people will happily take from you. That's the lesson. It's like, hey, if you got it to give, people will take. You know, there's plenty of people that will take out there. You know, now I'm not saying that giving doesn't inspire reciprocation. I'm not saying that giving isn't an important part of an exchange of value, right? If somebody's going to pay you, you got to give them something, right? But if you don't charge people, nobody's going to volunteer to pay you. It's just Business doesn't work like that. So you gotta be mature and run your business like a business, and that starts with you. Let's see. Francesco also asks, how can I bypass this credibility issue, the qualification issue that is in my own mind, and market myself effectively? So we talked about that tonight. The credibility is going to come from the quality of your incentive that you provide, the quality of the information that you provide people online. You know, I mean, with our students and our clients, they're not asking for certifications because before they even talk to us, they've consumed information that qualifies us as experts. They know we know what we're talking about because they've gotten free stuff from us that we gave away online. Didn't take any time on my part or my team's part to provide that information. And they're like, gosh, if you know that stuff, and you were able to help me without even talking to me over this video or over an audio or over a webinar or over a free ebook or whatever, then you must know what you're talking about. There ain't no question after that. You know, so that's it. I mean, that's my way of doing it. But like I said, if you give a great session and even a free session, people shouldn't be questioning your qualifications, and also it won't be in your mind anymore. You might have this in your mind because you know that the coaching you're doing is not up to snuff. That may be an issue around getting your coaching skills at a higher level. Part of that you could do with practice. Part of that you may need to go get certified or work with us in the Quick Start or a variety of other approaches as well. Let's see. So how do I do this? And then he goes on to ask, find out the target. Oh, how do I figure out who the target client is that would pay? Yeah, so really, the way we do that online is through simple research tools, like through Google AdWords, through there's many others that we do in the retreat, but I would start with Google AdWords and search for what people are searching for, search demographics on Facebook ads, and you'll be able to get a sense of who is actually paying based upon what the ad market looks like. And dedicate to each client its just amount of time. So that's, like I said, that's on you. You got to manage your own time. It's the 80-20 rule. Yeah, so it's 80-20 rule, just like you said. So you know what to do, Francesco, based upon what we talked about tonight and based upon what you just said. It sounds like you're just not doing it yet. And so be accountable for that and start to transition in the direction that you know you need to. On top of the advice I just offered you. Let's see. And then Francesco asked, will the machine help me target the right clients? Yeah, we do that in day one. That's where we start in targeting. If you're not, the one way, well, there's a lot of ways, but the biggest way you can make an internet client machine fail is by having the wrong target, having the wrong customers, having the wrong audience, if you want to call them the audience. If you got the wrong audience, nothing you will do is going to get paying clients for you. Okay, Gabriel asks, my biggest frustration is that my business never works as planned. I must be doing something wrong. Okay, all right, fair enough. By the way, you might be doing a lot of things right, but in a business, if you do 9 things right, or 90% of everything you do right, and then 10% is wrong or it's off, can that cost you almost all your clients? Yeah. You can, especially in coaching, because people are sizing you up as a leader. Like Francesco talked about, they're sizing up your credibility, right? So, if you do some really great stuff, and then you do one thing really bad, then you could have somebody who's about to pay you thousands of dollars to be their coach, and it's like, oh, you know what? Now I've got an excuse to quit. People are, especially online, but pretty much anywhere in the coaching market, people are looking for an excuse not to hire you. That's what they're looking for. They're not even looking for your qualifications. In fact, probably why they ask for your qualifications is because they're looking for an excuse not to hire you, right? They're looking for something that'll get them off easy, that will give them justification for why they didn't take a risk in their own mind, risking their money, risking their time, risking their faith in something. Because Most of the people that are clients, most of the people that need your coaching, they have tried so many things. They have failed so many different times. They have spent so much money in the past. So much risk in the past, so many risks that they've taken that didn't pay off, that never worked out, that made them sad, that made them disgruntled, that they were disappointed by, that made them feel like an idiot. They don't want to let that happen again, so they're just looking for excuses not to hire you. So yeah, if you, Gabriel, as you said, if you're doing like 1% wrong, you might get a trickle of clients, but there might be it might be 90% of your clients that you're failing to get because of that one little thing. So I'm with you on that. I mean, you got to really look for what it is that's missing. You're only as strong as the weakest link in your chain in the coaching business, especially in the coaching business. Okay, Gabriel also mentions, one question is it a fact that people never listen? How do you get people to listen and implement your suggestions? Whew. Okay, well it's kind of a general question. Here's what I would say. I mean, other than just being a great coach, because if you're a really good coach with somebody, chances are they'll do something. Maybe not forever, but they'll do something from the suggestions that you make. However, we've also seen that, being one coach on the phone with a client, they've got 100 friends that are pulling them in one direction. If you're trying to pull them in the other direction, you're probably going to lose. So being an authority or an expert in their mind, giving them marketing that has them justified in why they would hire you as the coach in the first place, and then why they would take your advice in the second place, pretty darn important. So having an internet client machine that creates credibility, that positions you as an expert, that provides value, and then funnels the people who already believe in you to free sessions or consultations or initial programs, products, etc., that then move them up into coaching with you. That's a great way to have people that are going to be your clients that are really going to listen to you, that are going to implement what you suggest. I know a lot of coaches, I was one of them, who work their butts off trying to get people to follow through, motivating them, holding them accountable, trying to kick their butt. And because they haven't become an expert authority in the mind of that customer, the customer doesn't get any value. So, and a lot of coaches look at the marketing like it's a necessary evil. It's like, well, I just have to do that to get customers. I don't want to really be a marketer. But guess what? Part of what the marketing does is it makes it such that the client, once they pay you, they're actually going to get results because it starts to instill the belief in your client that you can actually help them. And if they don't believe in you, they're probably not going to believe in themselves, and they're probably not going to believe in the coaching that you offer them. So that client machine can actually start to generate that, among other systems as well. All right, and then the final question Gabriel asks is, how do I get started and earn from day one? So that's not the way it works. If you're looking to try to make money the first day that you implement what we advise, then you're not a good fit for the Internet Client Machine Retreat, because this isn't instant pudding. This is a business with a lifetime foundation. This is a business not just based on good coaching skills and your caring and what you know and your expertise and all those things that a coach needs to provide, but this is a business based upon 5 days of building something and then ramping it up and scaling it. And it takes a little while to see the first client come in. If you can't wait for that, then you can't start this business. No, I'm not. It's not that you can't. You shouldn't. That's what I've talked about. That's why we qualify people to be in the retreats, because we saw coaches in the past that they were looking for the get rich quick, or whatever they call it. They're looking for the 1 month thing. Like, I'm going to get a client this month from this, and they couldn't hold out, and that just doesn't work. This is a business, right? So it could take some time. I can't tell you exactly how much time it'll take. Depends on the market. Depends on the quality of the materials you put together and that we work with you on. And I'll tell you, for me, and I didn't know what you guys will know if you are in the retreat, but for me, it took me about 6 months to get my first paying client online. It took about 6 months. Some people, I think it probably takes less time than that. I know that some of our students have gotten their first paying client online in much less time than that. And for some people, it takes longer, kind of depending on, it takes whatever time it takes when it comes down to it. The question is not the time. In fact, again, if you're worried about that time, you really got to look at your commitment and whether you're in a position to do this at all first. It's not about time. It's about commitment. You're committed to it, and you are ready. It's a matter of being ready as well. You're committed and ready. You're going to do well. You may not do well today. You may not do well tomorrow, but you will do well. Let's see. And we really covered the build-out plan tonight, at least in general. So if there's any other questions that came in over the chat, I'm going to answer those now. Okay, so John asked, will you give the step-by-step strategy for 5-day journey on this webinar? Yes, and I did. No, there wasn't anything from BBC on this, John. It was all domestic for us sources of news, I think. Let's see. I'm wading through all the slip and slide answers. We got slip and slide experts here. Thanks, John. I appreciate you trying to help on that one. My ineptitude on the, you'd tell what a technical wizard I am. That's why I can build internet properties. Okay. John asked, was your Udemy course or the blogs converting more? We convert a lot through Udemy, but the blogs have been tremendous, and we're actually doing a complete redesign for our blog right now. We've had a dip in our blog take recently because I basically ignored it for like a year. I don't recommend that, but I got lazy, and so we still got a lot of customers from our blog, but not as many as we did. So we're gonna do a little bit of rebuilding there, and I expect to double or triple our business from the redesign that we're gonna do for the blog and some of the new content marketing that we're gonna set up for our machine, and the different niches that we're working. We're also working on a brand new niche in the human resource coaching and consulting space for corporate, a lot of the corporate business that we do, so we're kind of working on that, and we have a new blog for that as well. So I think blogs are absolutely essential. And yeah, I would do a Udemy course too, as well as a lot of, I look at Udemy as social media, basically. It's just another kind of property out there that can bring in business. And there's just infinite numbers of those. So it's just a matter of how much time and energy and focus you got for how big you want to scale those types of things up. But I think both Udemy and blogs are worthwhile. I think if you had to choose between one or the other, I'd do a blog 10 times out of 10. Udemy is secondary compared to blogs. That's how valuable blogs are. Do you supply a template on Word? Yeah, everything is templated. I'm sorry. This is the first time I've done this webinar, so I'm probably missing half of what I'm supposed to be saying. But everything that we did and we've taught over the years for building these marketing funnels and these internet client machines is templated. So it's like we set it up so it's fill in the blank, basically. Now, obviously, there's more to a business than just filling in templates, but templates get you started and make it easy the first time you've done something. So, I've spent hundreds of hours, probably maybe around 100 hours, if not more, personally building these for my own business, okay, with my team. And, as I've worked with my team, I've had to produce and create spreadsheets and templates and systems to make it easier for all of us, including them, to build these machines. Because I'm in the position where I don't personally build our niches. When we build out a new niche for our business now, my team does it for me because I've trained them to do it. I want to make it I wanted to McDonaldize the process, so to speak. Make it kind of a cookie cutter, templated, Mad Libs fill in the blank process, so that you can take the worksheet, take the blueprint, etc., and just kind of plug and play as well. Now, again, you got to be smart with this anyway, but we try to make it a no-brainer as well. And frankly, if you can do well with the automation that we're going to teach you how to set up, you can actually have kind of sucky marketing and actually still have a decent business, at least a six-figure business. But what we espouse and what I believe in is have your marketing be the best in the world, and have your automation be the best in the world, and then have the most profitable business in that industry. Take the biggest market share. Why wouldn't you want to do that? And with a little time and energy, you can do both. All right. Let's see. Backing up here. Yeah, so we were asking who is it that certified you? It was Frank Kern and Ryan Dice. Those are my teachers. Among others, I've had a lot of other teachers over the past 5-6 years, and but those guys were the guys that had kind of officially certified me through their programs. Okay, so John asked, tools mean what? Software or PC? Well, you should have a computer. That is a key tool, hopefully, that you already own. But there's software and other tools, online tools, that for very, very minuscule amounts, you can have the tech overcome even without hiring a team to do it for you nowadays. Now, I still believe that a team should publish your blog. I mean, if you're going to pay anybody outside of you to publish something, I think the blog is where you hire. You could get blogs published for, probably $10-20 nowadays. But if you want one done right, it's probably a couple $100 to get a team to do it for you. And so I wouldn't use software for that still. They haven't quite gotten to that point where blogs are completely templated and that it doesn't matter. You don't need a team to do it for you right. To do it right, I think you want to hire a team for the blog. Now, with that said, though, all the other properties that I build, all the other properties that I think you should build, and all the other automation that I think you should set up is done basically with software. And the software is cheaper than hiring a team. It does take a little time because you have to actually do it, right? Nobody else is doing it for you. But you could kind of do DIY. You could do it yourself nowadays really without a team. Once the blog is set up, everything else can be done with software and web services nowadays. All right, and again, the money there. Again, I mean, like you should be comfortable with spending a couple $100, and maybe more depending on how serious you want your funnel to be. But you should be comfortable doing that up front. And if you're not, it's not for you. Don't bother with this getting serious about an internet client machine, because you need to go get a job or figure out another way to get some clients, or do something to get some more money in, because you're not in a position to start a business like this. But with that said, again, most of the tools are software, cloud services, and under $500, basically just about all the tools that you're going to want initially, at least, just to get the thing started. You're going to be able to have it handled. Okay. Cindy asks, what's the additional cost with your team? Is that the 500 plus or minus? That and tools as well. I mean, if you have a $500 budget, our team can set up your blog. in the way, exactly the way that I think you need to do it, and I'm going to teach you how to do it. And you should be able to afford all of the tools that you need to get the ball rolling, and actually have money left over. You know, so as an initial budget, $500 is more than enough to get everything handled. Now, prices change, the market changes. Don't quote me on that exactly, because my team, just like any other human, they raise their prices sometime. But I have really worked with them over the years to make it so that the students that we work with in the retreat can get their blog set up for a couple $100 or so, sometimes more, sometimes less. And then with the other tools that you might invest in, it should be under $500 to get the nuts and bolts and everything handled. By the way, if you don't have that money, but you're willing to put the time in and you're positioned to do so, you can still build this stuff. I mean, you may not be able to do it with my team, but with a few services and using outsourcing, and I actually have a training within the Internet Client Machine Retreat training videos where I actually cover exactly how to outsource overseas and to get people that are outside the Western society to set up your blog for you, to build your properties for you, to do the design work for you for pennies on the dollar. I have three. I have three team members that are in Asia that work. Not all of them work full time. One of them works full time. Two of them work part time for me. They run my business for me. They run my internet business for me. I don't pay more than let's see. I don't think I pay more than $600-700 a month for that entire team. So you could get like full-time labor overseas for, less than $500 a month if you want to hire somebody and keep them on board. If you want to just outsource and hire them to do specific jobs, maybe $50-100, you can get your blog and get your squeeze pages set up. You can get all your functionality there with outsourced labor. So I actually teach you how to do that. It's not. If you've got the money, just hire my team. It's a no-brainer. It's great to work with them. But if you're willing to put a little bit of hunting into outsourcing, I'll show you exactly where to go, how to hire, who to hire, and what kind of skills they need to have, so you can follow that plan and get the stuff built for even less than the numbers that you and I just talked about as well. All right, I got to back up here. All right, okay, so we talked about that. Also, I'm booked solid till June. Will you be offering this during the summer or fall? It all sounds like... Okay, so the dates. Let's talk dates for a second. I got to look at my calendar, sorry. We start in March, and the retreat, we have 5 days over a period of Saturdays. These all happen on Saturday, so if you have a day job, it's just on Saturday that we're having these retreat days. And there's about 2 to 4 weeks between every retreat day, so you'll have plenty of time. Even if you don't get the work done that day, you'll have plenty of time to implement and execute everything that needed to happen that day before the next day. That's one of the challenges we have had in past retreats, is we would have the retreat over a period of like 3 weekends. And if somebody got behind, they like stayed behind. And I thought, okay, we gotta set this up such that it's really comfortable, and it's set up so that it's just impossible to get behind if you're willing to put any time into it whatsoever, including the 5 days. And we set it up that way so that those Saturdays have 2 to 4 weeks between every Saturday. So you got day 1, and you'll have 2 weeks before day 2, and you have like a month before day 3. There's tons of time to get this stuff implemented. Especially if you're willing to spend those 5 days. By the way, if you can't hang out with us during those 5 days, number one, everything is recorded, so the live webinars are posted, and you can just watch them whenever you have time, or you can download them later as well. And by the way, I will, if I have to, make myself available to you like during the week or later on or whatever. If you have a question that was not answered during the live retreat days, even if you couldn't attend those live retreat days, and even if it's after the fact. In fact, I didn't mention this. This should be like a benefit that I put down. But in fact, if you go through this retreat, or if you don't go through this next retreat, the next year we're going to do another one, and you can go through the live retreat then with us, full force. But I mean, I suggest you go through a live. I think that'd be great. But even if you don't, you will have access to all of the materials, all the blueprints, all the templates, all the videos, yada, yada, yada. And really, you'll be able to do it that way. Plus, I'm still going to hold your hand. We'll just set up a coaching session. I got plenty of time available if I need to put it towards helping you. And we'll just talk during the week on the phone, something like that. So even if you're booked until June, just get started when you can get started, and I'll make myself available to you when you need it. Really, the retreat days are kind of a strategy for me to isolate most of the questions, most of the coaching that I need to offer. I know there's going to be some stragglers. I know there's going to be some extra that I need to provide, but it's usually pretty minuscule relative to what we do during those days. So it's just a way for me to run this thing efficiently. But I'm happy to coach you outside of those days if we really need to. Blah, blah, blah. Let's see. Will you be offering this during the summer or fall? So no, we only do this once a year. But again, you know, like I said, I'll hold your hand personally if you can't make those dates that we have. Let's see. Okay, John asks, can I do coaching in photography or multimedia? I'm more passionate about that. I'm technical. Is there a market for this? Or is it a small niche? Photography and multimedia is a gigantic niche. It's huge. That is huge. In fact, most coaches want to do more personal development style. So if you're going to do like consulting, like high-level technical stuff, that market is even easier because you have expertise and knowledge that's rare for people. So now, you know, obviously you got to kind of figure out that's photography and multimedia is a means to an end. So you got to figure out what niche or niches need that help the most and are willing to pay for it, right? But we can do that, you know, and I can't say for sure because I'm not going to do the research right here. It takes about a day to do the research. But I bet you we could find some niches that want and need multimedia photography help and need your expertise and be happy to pay you plenty for it. Blah, blah, okay, blah. Photography or media. Yeah, so like I said, photography and media, that's not a niche. That's just a skill and an area of expertise. That then tells us where to look for niches. A lot of people think a niche means, like somebody will say, well, my niche is computer programming, or my niche is photography, or my niche is career coaching, or my niche is helping people in their relationships. No, it's not. That's your expertise. Expertise and niche are two different things. So what a coach usually does is they take their expertise, they stick it online in like a brochure basically that's worthless, and they go out around telling everybody, I'm a career coach, or I'm a relationship coach, or I'm a technical coach, or I'm a life coach, or I'm a business coach, or whatever, thinking that they had a niche. And guess what? No, you didn't. That ain't a niche. If it was a niche, you'd probably have customers from it. But chances are you're not getting any customers by doing that. Those expertise that help you to get a sense of what niches you might be able to help. Like if you're a dating coach, maybe your niche is middle-aged women that just got divorced and helping them get back into the dating world, right? It's not dating coaching that's the niche. It's those particular ladies that want your help, that need help with a result. That is what a niche is. And we talk about that in much deeper detail in the retreat. So you understand exactly what is a niche and what's not a niche. You know whether or not you're doing it right. And then we show you the exact online research that you can do for free to figure out exactly what will be a profitable niche for you. Okay. Okay, Ray says, I'm a good coach and I've helped out a lot of people in my niche. The problem is people can't afford me. Any advice for how to appeal to organizations that can afford to pay for the coachees using the internet client machine? Yeah, I mean, business to business, you can market to businesses using a client machine like this. I mean, our latest niche work is marketing to businesses. So it's a business to business play. And that could be a very lucrative way to use an internet client machine. I mean, the people that are online are individuals, but individuals work in organizations. So you're never marketing to an organization. You're always marketing to an individual. It's just a question of which individual do you want. And they have the power to sign a check from an organization such that you get hired, right? So appealing to organizations is a matter of appealing to the individuals that work in the organization. Appealing to an individual is a matter of understanding that individual, understanding the niche, and then writing the proper messages to that niche and then providing them with great incentives, just like we talked about. It's the same stuff. It's the same stuff. You know, there might be a little bit different technique to it, but it's the same stuff. You know, communication is communication, however you slice it. Now look, the design, if you're working with one more piece about business to business, if you're working towards marketing to businesses, the design of what your site looks like the way it's designed or the content that's in it, and like maybe some of the words and the communication style that you use, that might be different because of the customer. But if you go through day one, you understand that niche, you'll figure out you'll figure out how that needs to look. So we base everything on the customer. The customer kind of tells us the secrets of how to market to them. And that is so important to understand, and so few coaches get that. Or at least follow through on that distinction. John asks, does our site need to be SEO optimized and social media? No, it doesn't. There's really no such thing as SEO anymore. Well, yeah, that's not fair to say. Yes, there is, but you don't need to worry about it when you're building your blog and your site, because our team will handle that for you, and that'll go on under the radar. That'll go on kind of. You don't need to become an SEO expert. What you do need to understand is how to research what your niche is searching on, so you can create the content for that and put it on your blog. If you put it on your blog and it's good content, that's all the SEO you need. With a few other tweaks. So short answer is yes, but it's very little. Like the SEO that you got to do nowadays is like 10 minutes a week of just checking in on like what keywords you want to be writing articles for. It's not a lot. Social media is even easier because social media is just about being, it's really just about providing people with what they want via social media. So that's the thing about social media is it needs to be automated, because you could spend all day fishing around on social media, and then you're out of business if you do that. The people that are the top social media people have very little income. They're just popular. So I don't want to be popular. I want to get customers. I want to get clients. I want to grow this business. I want to make a difference and change the world. So I don't want to play around on social media all day. If you do, that's great, but you should automate the business side so it runs itself. So there's optimization there, but it's really couched in day 5 where we do the social media automation, and the SEO is couched in day 4 when you build the blog itself. When's the course going to be? Like I said, starts next month, starts in March, goes through hold on. Look at my calendar again. Yeah, actually, okay, so starts next month, goes through July. So we really stretched it out this year. You'll have access to everything instantly. So it's not a matter, like you could go through the whole thing by yourself, even when we're not, if you want to skip to day 4 and when we're not yet on day 4, that's great. You'll have access to all the webinar replays from past retreats, and I mean, you'll have everything you need, really. But it's March through July. We give you a whole month in March just to go through the DVD course, so you can get all of the fundamentals of marketing under your belt before we do day one. So we really give you all the time you need to kind of go through this and make it comfortable, so you can do it, in your spare time, basically. Now, in terms of exact dates, I'm not gonna share those right now. They're all on Saturdays. So if generally your Saturdays are free, you should probably be fine. And if you want to know like all the Saturday dates, I can send you a schedule. In fact, I think I may even post it when we open for registration. But Ferry will know the dates also, so she can share those with you as well. But feel free to email me. I'm happy to fill you in on the exact dates. All right, social media. Which are the best top 4? That's easy. YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn. Those are the top 4 for every coach I've ever met. Those are the top 4. Okay? Once again, YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter. Not in that order necessarily. Those are the 4. That's social media in my book. Everything else is extra and is usually kind of whiz-bang stuff that doesn't do anything. I've gotten customers from LinkedIn. I've gotten paying clients from Twitter. I've gotten tons of customers from Facebook, and I've gotten tons of clients from YouTube. Those the way I look at social media is what's going to get me clients, right? So those are the top 4. Those are the ones that we work with you to set up your automation for in day 5. And if you want to go beyond that, go to forums, Udemy, and Foursquare, and we're on Pinterest, but I mean, it's really not. I mean, the first 6 months of your business, you don't need to be on Pinterest. You don't need to be doing Foursquare. It's not a waste of time. It's just that it's probably not where you should be focused. You got to get the fundamentals handled, get some customers, and then you'll have income. You can then reinvest in the expansion if you want to go and be on every social media site in the world to expand your business. You can do that. Like I got a team that does that for me, but that's only because I built this right so I could have some income and reinvest that so the business can then grow. That's the slip and slide. That's the snowball effect. You got to start with the right stuff. So start with those 4. Let's see. John asked, does a coach need full experience in the niche to give good and great advice that will get them accountable? No, not really. No. In fact, the most successful coaching business, to be honest, for full disclosure, the coaching businesses that are doing like millions of dollars every year, the owner of that business, a lot of times doesn't know crap about that niche. They're just a good business person. And you can hire that expertise, having expertise can help with content, no doubt. And if you're like, I don't know what the heck to say as a coach, and I don't know what my incentive could be or what I can tell people that would be valuable, we can train you in that stuff as well. I mean, some of the bonuses, Quick Start and DVD course and the certification program, that'll give you tons of content to share with any marketplace. So it's good to be an expert in a niche, but no, you definitely don't. I mean, we had a niche that was making plenty of money for us and had plenty of clients for years, and we still have that niche. It's still a profit center for us, and it's coaching real estate agents. It's the real estate agent sales coaching, basically. And I have never been a realtor. I mean, I know a lot about it now because I've coached in it for 14 years, but yeah, I didn't know anything about it when I started. That the agents taught me, really. And then I partnered with a lot of training houses that work with agents, so I know everything there is to know. But that's now, after 14 years. So short answer is no. It can help, but it's definitely not required by any means. And by the way, if you go into a niche and you need to be an expert, you really do. Let's say oh my gosh, I need to be an expert in that niche. If you read like 1 or 2 books, like the most important books in that area of expertise, you are now an expert in that niche compared to your customers. Because being an expert is just knowing more than your customer knows. That's all it is. I mean, if we're just talking about the business side of it, right? It's just knowing more than them, so you can help them. I mean, some people think they need to know everything about a subject before they can teach it. And it's like, and that is, what's the word I'm looking for? Bullshit. I mean, it's reality is in business, we learn as we go. We're all learning. We all need to know more in almost every area that we're helping other people in and trying to help ourselves in, for that matter as well. Okay, let's see. When and where is the 5-day, or when and where are the 5 days? So when, like I said, just email me. I'll send you the dates, or you can talk to Farrell about that. I'm going to post those somewhere, I'm sure. Where? That's a good question. These are virtual. We're doing these virtual now. It's just better. We do have face-to-face certifications. You can come to those. I'd love to see you face-to-face. It's great to hang out, among other things. And it's a bonus in this program. But these 5 days are virtual. So here's what I suggest you do. What I suggest is for those 5 days, the day before, get in your car and drive to the next town and check into like a bed and breakfast or some kind of hotel that's got really good internet. Just bring your laptop. And then the morning, stay in the hotel or stay in the bed and breakfast, wake up the next morning, open up your laptop, watch the videos, go through the webinar, do your work in the hotel room, in the business center, at Starbucks. Do it. Don't do it in your home. Don't do it at the office. Don't do it where all its distractions are. Do it where you don't recognize your surroundings and where all there is to do. Like, there's not a whole lot to do in a hotel, usually. You go to the pool for an hour, go to work out for an hour, you're done. Now all you can do is get your stuff done, right? So get out of town and make it a real retreat for you. And then I'll be there virtually at your beck and call to work with you for that day. And then that evening, you can check, or the next day or whatever, you can check out, drive home. You had your retreat for that day. And then the second day, do the same thing. Third day, do the same thing. I'll tell you, I advise all of our team, all of our clients, even outside of coaches and myself, to at least once a year take a 1 or 2 day retreat, whether or not you're online, whether or not you're trying to do internet stuff, and just plan out your life, plan out your business, decompress, get the heck out of town, and just get some distance from your urgency and scarcity and problems and all the distractions and family. No matter how much we love them, they can distract us from planning our life and figuring out what we got to figure out, because they're always there, or they're most of the time they're there, and kind of put the blinders on and really decompress and relax and give yourself the gift to get figure out your next move. The picture I showed you, let me go back to it. Picture I showed you way back here. This picture right here. This picture was from one of my internet client machine retreats. Not one that I gave you. This was one I did on myself. The only reason I teach this stuff is I did it to myself 10 times before I ever expected to help somebody else with it. This was a retreat for me. This is where I was doing my retreat, on the beach, at a restaurant, in the third world, right? I could stay there for a month. It was real cheap rent. Nobody bothered me. I didn't, this is Dominican Republic, so I didn't really speak Spanish. So I didn't have anybody to talk to. This is great, right? So I'm not saying you have to take a month, but, for 5 days, should you do that? Yeah. For a weekend, once a year, just in general, should you do that? I think it's a great idea. I do it every year. In fact, last year, I met with my mastermind. I have a small mastermind of friends that talk on a regular basis, support each other. We met in Lake Tahoe for a weekend. I spent a whole week there. So I got there before the mastermind to create my business plan, and we create our visions for the year and just consciously create our lives together, personally and professionally. So this retreat is kind of in that same it's kind of set up to be that similar type of experience, but you kind of decide how you want that to flow for yourself, and we make it virtual so you can do that. Okay, let's see. What are you saying about other choices before a blog? I'm not sure what you mean by that. But the blog is the most important property for generating traffic to your site. I will tell you that. That's why we make it like 50% of day 4 is your blog. It is way more important than any other property that you build, other than the marketing properties that you'll build in like day 2 and 3. Let's see. Figure you need Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, blog, webpage, and what else? I mean, I think video is really key for a lot of niches, so YouTube is really helpful. You don't have to, but for my business, it's been huge in the niches, and we love to do that. But not every niche. Not every niche requires it. But yeah, so I think you kind of covered it. Yeah, John, we use WordPress for our blogs. That's why it's so easy for us to find outsourcers for pennies on the dollar to set it up for us. A lot of people get caught up in the technical side, like, okay, what tool do you use? Do you WordPress or this or that or whatever? The answer is it doesn't really matter. Like, tools are helpful, but tools are a dime a dozen. What matters in your internet machine is your messaging, your niche selection, your marketing, your content. We're not working on technical these 5 days. Like, that stuff is easy if you can get the marketing. That's the big mistake that everybody makes when they go online. They're like, okay, I got to get techie because that's the key. Like, no, it's not. No, it's not. You are so wrong if that's what you think. Can't put it any other way. I'm trying to be blunt. What the key is all the marketing stuff, and nobody focuses on that. And so a lot of people go online and they get no customers. Why? Not because they didn't use WordPress. It's because they don't know what they're doing. Their marketing sucks, and they don't even. What's even more sad, is they don't even know it sucks. They don't have a clue, and they don't have a clue that they have a clue. I think that's self-referential, but hopefully you get my gist. So that's the stuff you need to spend 5 days on, not the tech stuff. All right, let's see. Cindy asked, will we have access after July? Is it unlimited? Yes. Short answer, yes. Everything that we provide you, the content, the templates, the slides, the replays, the videos, first of all, you'll be able to download all that stuff. You don't have to use our site to get it. You just download it all to your hard drive. You own it forever. You don't even have to be on our site. But you'll have access to that site for life, or all the downloads and all the materials, if you will. So you can access it anytime you want. We update it on a regular basis. And, things do change from time to time. So we update the tools and some of the methods and some of the videos do need to be updated. So we do that, and you'll get all the updates for as long as we're alive and I'm in good health. If you want to, like I said, Cindy, if you want to come back to another retreat and even if you spent time with us in the first one and hone again or build another niche and, partner with us again, you're free to do that. We're not going to charge anymore. We want you to be successful, and we see this as a long-term partnership. Maybe that's the wrong way to do it. I'm sure people take advantage of us sometimes as a result of that, but that's life. I'm not in this to try to. I'm a business person. I've become that over the years, but my number one focus is really to serve and to serve in the greatest way possible. And we think that if we can work together next year and the next year, and if you're still committed to expanding how you're going to be doing business online and be making a difference for people, then we're going to be here with you. That's my commitment. at least. All right, let's see. John asks, I found a new tool for research. Great, fantastic. We find that, some of the simplest tools are the most important ones to use, but new stuff comes out all the time. Okay, looks like that's all the questions, guys. We spent, looks like about 2.5 hours here, a little bit more than that. So if you're still with me, I want you to know that if you take action on just what you learned tonight, I think that'll help. And I hope you took some notes, and that you will. And if you do that, even if we're not working together in the retreat, let me know what a difference it made for you. Let me know how you used it and what your successes were, and I hope our paths cross again soon. If we're working together in the retreat, I can't wait to get started. Welcome to the Internet Client Machine Retreat. And, like I said, get in touch with Farrell here. I'll put her contact information up one more time. Sure, I can see it somewhere. There it is. All right, right in front of you. So get in touch with Farrell and let's rock and roll. Let's change the world. Let's make a difference for clients. Let's make plenty of money doing it, and give ourselves the freedom, the abundance, the contribution in the life that we really deserve if we care about others and seek to serve them as well. That opportunity to do that, to live that, to experience that is an opportunity that everyone, I think, at least that made it to this webinar has. But it's an opportunity that, for working with us, it's a now opportunity. I mean, for this year, 4 more slots and we're done, we're full, and we got to get the ball rolling and get on the train, and we're leaving the station. But no matter what, if you give some energy and you put some intelligence into this, and you just care about the people you're going to help, I know this is going to work for you. And we'll tell you if we don't think it will. Farrell will. The application will help us understand that, and we won't work with you in this respect if we don't think it's a good fit and we don't think you're going to really profit from it and make a difference with your clients from it as well. All right, guys, take care. I'll talk to you soon.